Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 in a best of 3 between Gnef and Gallo-Neal, and this is the third place final in the Great Paradox Tourney. So both players have proved themselves throughout this tournament, but unfortunately got knocked down in the semi-finals, Gnef by Lennart and Gallo-Neal by Eugen. But they found themselves into this third place final, and they're playing for third place overall in the tournament, which will net them a prize. So all to play for still, and two very good players at that. So in this, we have two tried and tested players playing two tried and tested divisions, and Gnef going to be bringing out the 2nd Infantry and Gallo-Neal the 12th SS Panzer. This is Omaha, and it's definitely set to be a good matchup. So in Phase A, I think it's all about the M4 double Ds for the 2nd Infantry. If Gallo-Neal doesn't opt to bring in the Firefly in Phase A, which we actually haven't seen very often in the 1v1s in this tournament, then the M4s of Gnef could definitely do a lot of work. Gallo-Neal, though, has been known to get his Pak 38s into decent positions to ambush the M4s at ranges where they can find penetration, because generally at max range an M4 will defeat a Pak 38 because a Pak 38 only has 10 AP and an M4 Sherman has 10 armor, so at max range it can't penetrate. However, if you get it to a closer range, which is very possible on Omaha, then you'll find yourself in a decent position where your AT gun can ambush and kill the M4. Let's have a look at some of the units going down. On this top side from Gallo-Neal, we have the 259, we have a 258, we have the Command Infantry, Panzer Grenadiers, AT gun and the Recon there, the Speed Troop. In the centre, just one squad of Panzer Grenadiers with the half-track. On the bottom side, it's going to be Panzer Grenadiers in half-track. We got the Speed Troop, Command Infantry and an AT gun. On the side of Gnef, it's going to be an AT gun, Ranger Marauders, Command Infantry and Rifles. For the mid, it is going to be 2 units of Rifles with a machine gun. For the top, we have 2 squads of Rifles with the Ranger Marauders and a Command Infantry, and on the very top side is going to be Ranger Marauders accompanying the M4 double D, Command Infantry and a Ranger Assault. So it's likely that Gnef might try and go for a little push into these buildings at the start of the game, as we are off and the units are moving. So yeah, we might see Gnef go for the unloaded position into this town. That's exactly what we can see going on here. M4 is going to be moving up and then attack moving its way forwards. We just select all of the units, you can see exactly where they are going. There's a little bit of a gap here for Gnef that could lead to a +1 in Gallo-Neal's favour early on. But currently Gnef finding the early points. Gallo-Neal putting quite a concentrated force onto the top side. Now this map is weirdly balanced, because on the very top and very bottom it's favoured for the red side, but in the centre it's definitely favoured to the blue side due to the roads coming through the centre of the map. But here we see the M4 already engaging the 259, M4 being a very good choice of unit to do just that. But with the M4 being revealed, it is going to allow Gallo-Neal to arrange his ambush effectively. He's got the Pak 38 creeping around the top side of that town. Speed Troop are going to be kept hidden if possible in this building. Gallo-Neal trying to not let them take any damage. Meanwhile down here, SDKFZ 251-1 is going to be dropping off some Panzergrens into the open, which are going to get pinned down by both the Ranger 30 count and the Rifle squad. Now if those Panzergrens were still in the half-track, I don't feel like they would have get pinned down so easy. So there was a very good opportunity, I think, here for that half-track to find its way towards these houses, but wasn't meant to be. On the top side, the Pak 38 is now engaging the M4 double D. first shot's going to bounce. Panzergrenz did open up onto the Ranger assaults by the looks of things, but they have been pinned down into the open, or in the open. We have a track wheel destroyed actually though. Pak 38 has landed that, and now with the M4 Double D falling back, it's a sitting duck, and that's going to be a critical ammo explosion. M4 Double D down on the top side. That is devastating for Gnef early on. Might give Gallo-Neal a good opportunity to push up with the 20mm autocannon here and the 258. Ranger leaders also finding themselves pinned down by the Panzergrenführer, and the Ranger assaults just being demolished by the 259. Mortar is opening up onto the Pak 38, taking it down to 2 health. We will likely see Gnef try and focus that down as the game goes on. But meanwhile, let's check out the centre of the map where we see the 251 opening up onto the Ranger 30 cal with the help of these Panzergrenz. These Panzergrenz, however, are not going to do too much to an entrenched 30 cal. 259 might though, as that is coming up to support. On the bottom side, a push from these rifles is thwarted by the Panzergrenz and a half-track. So currently Gallo-Neal finding the +1 with the 51% territory lead. Not much of a lead overall, but still a neat lead nonetheless, and every point counts, especially in these finals. T30 is going to be the reply for the centre of the map by Gnef, bringing that in to counter the 259. At long range, this can definitely take that out. It's only got 4 accuracy, I believe, the T30, but with the 2-star veterancy, does hit the mark occasionally. Managed to hit 2 in a row there onto the 259 to score the kill, and that definitely does weaken Gallo-Neal's push in the centre. Ranger Marauders are going to be rushed down by the 251. Looks like they were revealed as the half-track got close, and that allowed the Ranger Marauders to fire there, even though they were on return fire. So that was interesting. Little drive forwards there from Gallo-Neal. Going to be seeing the fire position come out of Gallo-Neal as he tries to push forwards his Panzer Grenadiers. The idea here probably going to be that Gallo-Neal wants to try and get some troops over into this compound, because if he can, that will open the way for more reinforcements to come down and flood into this area, which would give him a solidified +1 early on. However, the T30 still doing work in the centre of the map, taking it on another half-track there. The Panzer Grenadiers also finding themselves out in the open. On the bottom side, it looks like a strong position for Gallo-Neal at the moment. He's holding on well down here. I believe it's this little salient that's causing the +1, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Gnef try and do something about that in the near future. But currently, just going for this push in the centre, which is another way to deal with it. If he can make ground elsewhere on the map, then he doesn't need to make ground on the bottom, necessarily. Especially if he's not under pressure, which currently he's not, due to Gallo-Neal not moving the troops down there. But on this top side, it seems like Gnef's using his Ranger Mortar to pin down Panzergrenz in the open as they try and make ground into these buildings. And that is very, very important. This is an extremely important move from Gnef. He doesn't want Gallo-Neal to get a foothold in this area. It will be an absolute nightmare for Gnef to try and push him out of if Gallo-Neal finds the foothold. But an M4 Double D looks like it's just in time to save the day. We'll end up finding shots onto the 258, I believe. Elsewhere in the middle of the map, T30 going to be engaging another half-track. Panzer Grenadiers continuing to pin down the Ranger 30 cal there. So up on this top side, Panzergrenz forced to fall back, 258. Looks like it was trying to fast move to the left so that this Pak 38 can maybe get a side shot onto the M4 Double D. Awesome tactics here from Gallo-Neal. The Pak 38 is in range of both the 50 cal fire and the HE fire from the main gun. So we might see that Pak 38 get pinned down, but currently the M4's pinned down, and the 258 is going to go for the surrender. Ranger Marauders save the day, force the 258 to fall back. M4 Double D is also forced to fall back, and the mortar saves the M4 by pinning the Pak 38. What a crazy engagement that was. Gallo-Neal almost made a very good play indeed, getting rid of a second M4 on that top side, but not to be. M4 is going to stay alive in the centre, a Pak 38 also staying alive. T30 looks like it was internal fragments, all of its ammo's gone, M20 managing to help pin that down. Wow, set of engagements across the map. Absolutely crazy. Speed troop on the bottom side are spotting the rifles here. That's going to allow the Panzergrenz to open up, but we do see this M20 on the way. This armoured car with the 50 cal should be able to provide adequate fire support onto both the Panzergrenz and the speed troop as we move on in this game. M20 forcing back the 251. At range, 50 cals generally beat the MGs of the half tracks. But here in the centre, we do see another mortar coming in on the bottom side. It's just that M20 for now. On the very top though, look at this, another mortar. So we've got mortar for the centre, we've got the second mortar for the top. It's also accompanied by 2 Ranger assaults. And Gnef starting to put down smoke towards this town and towards this Pak 38. So it seems to me as if Gnef is going to go for a push here. Let's see if he unloads these Ranger assaults. He isn't going to just yet. His second reinforcing mortar is bringing up smoke rounds as well. He needs to make sure that he smokes off these Panzergrenz effectively. Otherwise, they will just prevent the Ranger assaults from getting to the town in the first place by hitting the transports. Let's see if it works. Gnef's going for it. Yeah, too many. There's just way too many units able to fire. The first unit actually gets destroyed. Ranger assaults go down before they're even unloaded. Second one's going to be pinned down in the open. M4DD can't do anything about that. And it seems as though Gallo-Neal, well, saw this coming a mile off, probably due to the smoke. But he's also brought in the 257, which is the perfect counter battery to these low health Ranger mortars. So very good choice of unit there from Gallo-Neal, getting that counter battery in on the top side. Awesome stuff. Speed troops still opening up onto these rifles. Have used up all of their MG34 ammunition though, so that's not going to matter for much longer. 259 here, using up all of its 20mm ammunition to kill off the Ranger assaults on the road, and Gnef's push into that town has failed. In the centre of the map though, he has managed to secure some ground, so currently things going back to 50-50 across the board. Reinforcements are coming in for Gnef though on the bottom side now, and after his failed attack on the top side, it looks like he's switching focus to the bot side, which could definitely catch Gallo-Neal off guard. This is a very nice tactical decision here from Gnef, using the M20 with the 50 cal to pin down the infantry as he moves forwards. Just got to watch out for this Pak 38 sneaking up on him though. But we do see the rifles zooming down the road here in the duck. Does he have line of sight onto this Pak 38? Yes he does, he sees it there. Mortar comes down right on target as the rifles arrive, and that is a very dead Pak 38. M20 is now free to move forwards with the 50 cal support onto the Panzergrenadier speed troop and the Panzergrenadiers. Rifles engaging the Panzergrenadiers on the bottom side. That's surely just going to get mortared out and then have them run down. So Gnef seems to be making the plays on the bottom side, has found himself the +1. Rifles in the centre of the map here, going to be trying to hold back some Panzergrenadiers in this half track moving up. Ranger Marauders trying to creep across the open here towards the 259. Rifles have got on top of Panzergrenadiers in the lower mid as well. And if the rifles find the kill, it could open up even more ground for Gnef. And indeed it will. M20 has got the shot onto the Panzergrenadier here. Probably wants to find the kill, remove the veterancy from the Panzergrenadiers. Looks like the Panzergrenadiers were going to try and move into this tree line, but lost line of sight onto the M20. I believe that is the case, so they stopped moving because that was probably an attack order. But now just going to be moved into that tree line by Gallo-Neal, and hopefully find the Panzergren or Panzerfaust shot onto the M20. But since that's a normal move commander, not an attack move, I'm not sure they're going to fire their Panzerfaust. It does say it's aligning, but this 50 cal is doing a lot of damage very quickly to the Panzergrens. If Gallo-Neal loses the Panzergrens, that's going to be devastating. He does. 259 not going to necessarily be able to stop that either. Going to be very careful of this AT gun. There is a 257 there, but whether or not the speed troop has spotted the M1 gun or not is a completely different matter. And currently a huge salient forming for Gnef. He's made a lot of ground. He's got his foot into this town, and that is very important indeed. This is often controlled by the red side, but not this time round, as the rifles have found their way in there, and it looks like more rifles arriving to secure that. Armor penetration from the M1 gun is going to finish off the 259 as well. Things definitely not looking good for Gallo-Neal on the bottom side of this map. 257, the only thing in the way of all of these units pushing through here. Absolutely incredible stuff from Gnef, finding a hole in Gallo-Neal's defences and definitely trying to exploit it at this current moment in time. Rifles are going to be engaging the Panzergrenz in the open, and we have the Ranger Mortar here also helping pin those down. Can the M20 do anything about these half-tracks though? It does seem like there is an overwhelming amount of them. We do see the SBW231 coming in with the 251 as well. And it's only a matter of time before that SBW231 with the 4 AP does finish off the M20, which allows a lot more room for these half-tracks to maneuver. I'll have to wait and see. 257. That is a very, very horrible position for the 257 right now. There is a very good chance this new M4 could rush up this road and just take that out. However, we do see some reinforcements coming in from Gallo-Neal, which is going to comprise of the Befehlpanzer 4H and the Panzer Grenadiers there. So Gal's got to hope that this Befehlpanzer 4 can kill this M4 without being killed by the M1 gun itself. Currently those are supporting each other quite well. And this Befehlpanzer 4 could be having a hard time, but you never know, it could go the other way, especially with the help of the 257 actually. If that M1 gun shows itself with a shot towards the Befehlpanzer 4, that will give a target to the 257. But with the arrival of more infantry from Gnef, you can see he's quite simply just moving that up to secure his position in the buildings. And it's just going to make it harder and harder for Gallo-Neal to come back at this point. Ranger Marauders finding the Zuka shot onto the half-track there helps swing the engagement with these rifles and Panzer Grenadiers in his favour, especially as a rifle leader comes up to reinforce. In the centre of the map, 231 going to be engaging the Ranger 30 cal, might eventually kill that off. The M20 did go down, so there is potential here for Gallo-Neal to find a lot of ground, but another half-track has died. M4 is coming up to reinforce, does find that kill. And as I was stating at the start of the game, the M4s really are going to be the key in this game for Gnef. The Befehlpanzer 4 going to be opening up onto the M1 gun. 257, it's very important that that lands a shot, because it's only a matter of time before the M1 gun finds the kill. The Befehlpanzer 4 is safe for now. SBW222 coming in with the 20mm autocannon. Does not want to be killed by the M4. Got to be very careful about that. The Befehlpanzer 4, can it finish off the M1 gun? No, it cannot. Is going to be aiming now at the rifles. We have the 231 engaging rifles in the town. These rifles that have reinforced, there is no AT here, so the half-tracks can run all over them. And currently Gallo-Neal putting up a fantastic fight. 52% territory lead in Gnef's favour. Definitely taking a few percent off the advantage that Gnef had. So the Befehlpanzer 4 forced back now by the M4DD. See that falling back. We also see the M20 hammering the 257. This Befehlpanzer 4 has to find the kill onto that M20. Panzergrenz might beat it to it, and they certainly do. Managed to get into the 150 meter range. That M20 was focusing the 257 way too much. Half track is going to be coming up into the face of the rifles here, but as long as the rifles can keep themselves hidden, maybe put themselves on return fire, they might be able to control the ground for a little while longer, which is going to continue to give Gnef the +1 at this moment in time. The Panzergrenz here are finding themselves forced back by the M4's 50 cal and main gun, but smoke now coming down for Gallo-Neal, just to sort of allow the Befehlpanzer 4 to move up. That smoke actually is not blocking the line of sight between the Panzer 4 and M4 engagement. Interesting. There was a little bit of a gap there, and now a second Panzer 4H on the way. So this M4DD in the mid looks like it's going to blunt the push coming out of Gallo-Neal will be able to find the kill onto the 231 as well as the 251-1. And without the autocannon support from the 231 and that half track, these Panzer Grenadiers are going to be forced back. So it's very important that Gallo Neal gets this Panzer IV-H into line of sight of the M4DD sooner than later. In the bottom side, it looks like the M4 went down. Very nice kill there. We see the M4 dying on the bottom side. We also see the M1 gun going down to the 222. This is Gallo Neal's chance. He needs some reinforcing infantry to make sure that these hedgerows are clear, but he can definitely try and make some ground back, because currently these Ranger Marauders are actually very threatening indeed. 200 meter range these Ranger Marauders have. Currently not quite there. 222 might take the shot and sort of reveal the squad. See the 222 creeping forwards in that direction, does have the attack move into the orchard. We do see the command infantry go down though, and the rifles are surely soon to follow. M4DD though in this town, and we do see a reinforcing one come up the road, so might be a 2v1 with the Befehl Panzer IV-H versus 2 M4DDs if this Panzer IV-H is not in position in time. Currently M4 moving forwards, that's going to try and help pin down those Panzergrens, and will be in line of sight to do so. Panzergrens might just die off honestly, especially with both the 50 cals and 30 cals opening up onto that target. 231 is still alive somehow, but has run out of 20mm ammunition. That's going to be a one-shot kill though for the M4DD. Befehl, oh, is this going to find a shot? Panzer IV-H, close range, internal fire. Not quite what Gnef was looking for, but that is retreating in a very odd way. Surely the second shot finds the kill. It most definitely does. Panzer IV-H takes down the M4 Sherman. There is a rifle leader here though with a bazooka, and that is only a matter of seconds away from firing its bazooka straight into the side of the Panzer IV. Weapon jam for the M4DD. Looks like the Befehl Panzer IV won out that engagement. Transmission damage onto the Panzer IV-H. Rifles are going to try and run it down. They're staying in range whilst the bazooka reloads, and that's going to find the kill. Very nice job there by Gnef. That's going to open up a huge salient in the centre of the map. 55% territory lead, might even be 56% territory lead for Gnef. Never mind. Gallo Neal finding room in the top side to push up with his Panzer IV-H here. Panzer Grenadiers and the Pioneers now taking down those rifle leader. Panzergrenadier in the open. Bit of a dodgy place. Might want to use its smoke sometime soon to move away. But we do see the track wheel damage onto the Befehl Panzer IV. There has been an M5 gun brought up, and that's going to make things very difficult for Gallo Neal now. So the Zookas of Gallo Neal, or of Gnef, finding the kill onto that Panzer IV-H is extremely important, because it gets rid of the advantage that Gallo Neal had 2v1ing the M4DD. 257 can very easily take care of this M5 gun, so it's only a matter of time until we see that happen. And Gallo Neal has sort of taken the ground with these Panzer Grenadiers, so that's good. But they aren't very high health, so it's only a matter of time until rifles and the MG guns and stuff come up and take those out. Meanwhile on the top side we see the M4 still alive here. It has used up all of its 50 cal ammunition, but a Jagdpanzer IV is rolling down the street. That surely will find a shot onto the M4 eventually. There's also this xylophone here, which is oddly in line of sight. If the speed troop can see that, they can. Pretty sure this Jagdpanzer can find a shot. And that's a 3-star Jagdpanzer with 6 accuracy. Massive mistake there from Gnef, losing that xylophone for absolutely no reason. P-38 Lightning coming in. That's going to be the 225 HE power bombs. Blows the crap out of that mortar carrier. And no more worries for the M5 gun, as that can now quite simply attack, move forwards, find a shot onto the Befehl Panzer IV-H once again. But it's going to be up to Gallo Neal to keep that safe. M4DD still suffering from a weapon jam. No supply coming in on this bottom side. M5 gun still firing away, is going to find the kill. I don't think Gallo Neal was necessarily paying attention there. and we didn't see an order come in immediately. So I'm thinking that he was probably concentrating more on this top side with this Jagdpanzer, with his Befehl, or with his Panzer IV-H, because this is where he's reinforcing, and this is where it's really going to matter. M5 gun has been brought up to position, and that is in a very horrible spot quite currently. It doesn't have much line of sight at all. It can sort of fire down the reinforcements, but it doesn't quite have line of sight onto the Panzer IV-H. It could possibly ambush it if the Panzer IV-H comes down to reinforce against these rifle leaders. But the rifle leader, they're going to be surrendered before it can use a Zuka onto either of the half tracks. I'm surprised we didn't see that come out, because if one of those had blown up on top of the Panzergrenz, that would have caused a huge mass surrender for Gallo-Neal. And Gallo-Neal now finding the counter salient. He's managed to push through with one of his half tracks. He has also found line of sight onto the M5 gun, so he knows it's there. Kretschmar, however, is going to be coming up into line of sight of it. Will Kretschmar go down? No, he won't. Panzergrenz just about saving the day. Wow. 251's going to be pushing through. Gallo-Neal's found a lot of ground, but he's losing it on the bottom side too. M5 gun going to be hitting the Panzer Grenadiers. This is an incredibly exciting game. Things swinging backwards and forwards the entire time. And the M5 gun there sneaking through a shot through all of those tree lines straight into the 222. That is the last unit on this bottom side that Gallo-Neal had that was pushing it forward. So even though Gallo-Neal has found this salient, an M10 destroyer is going to come in, take out at least one of those half tracks, and then maybe find the second. And if he does, well, Gallo-Neal's lost his salient, and Gnef's certainly found his. So Gnef will be holding on to the ground, possibly finding a +2 if this one is shut off. M7 is going to be coming up the road, straight into the half track here. That M7's got to stop and find the kill. Even if he doesn't find the kill and forces it to fall back, that is going to cut off the front line. And there you go. There goes the land that Gallo-Neal controlled. Takes Gnef back up to 55%. Has been holding the +1 for the majority of the game so far. Kretschmar now making some ground. We see the Panzergrenz moving forwards. On this top side, it's going to be only a matter of time before the 257 starts pinning down this infantry, and we'll see a push come out of Gallo-Neal to support the Jagdpanzer in pushing forwards. But yeah, a lot of ground found in the centre for Gallo-Neal with these Panzergrenz. It's just got to kind of hold off the bottom side. Has brought in some pioneers here to do the job. Oh, Vesper coming up though. We see the Vesper here. That is a little bit more armoured than the half track, much less prone to being bombed than the half track. However, it can still die to those 25 HE power bombs out the lightning, so we've got to be wary of that. Here it comes again. He's going to be trying to bomb out the Jagdpanzer this time, and honestly, if he makes the Jagdpanzer fall back, then this M4 Double D can sneak out, maybe find the kill into the side armour. It doesn't have much chance of penetrating in the front armour, so Gallo-Neal's just got to hope that this falls back in the right direction, and so far it is. Panzergrenz finding their way into the face of Ranger Marauders. Honestly, one Ranger Marauder might be able to kill off those Panzergrenz, but not to be. Panzergrenz going to win out, and these Panzergrenz are in a really good position, full strength squad. Kretschmar going to be engaged upon by the M10 destroyer here, can't fire back. Surely Kretschmar's going to go down. He's got his front armour facing, so that's something at least, but with that falling back and the driver wounded, M10's going to pick up Kretschmar. Kretschmar goes down. Panzergrenz here have been pinned. Rifles are still up and running, so we might see a surrender. 6 men surrendering to 1 man. ME-109 trying to stop that from happening, but with the way that the Panzergrenz fell back because of the positioning of these rifles, it looks like it's going to be a surrender, surely. Maybe not actually, because the rifles are in enemy territory. It depends how the front line pushes forwards. If the rifles find themselves in friendly territory, then that will be the surrender. There we go. The last man's still alive. The rest of them just got gunned down. Crazy stuff. 258 takes out the 30 cal. Jagdpanzer also helping out there. 258 making ground here with the Panzer IV-H. But the M10 is moving into position. On the bottom side, 222 taken out by an M4. 30 cals pinning down the Panzergrenz. Looks like Gallo-Neal's infantry isn't faring very well on this bottom side. This Panzer IV-H needs to find the kill onto the M4, but at the moment it looks like this M5 is just going to move into the tree line and find that kill. Here go the P-38 Lightnings. One takes out the PaK-38, the other one bombs out the Jagdpanzer IV. At close range, M4 actually wins the engagement with the Panzer IV-H. That is a very big deal indeed. 30 cals going to be opening up onto the 259 as well. Internal fragments, doesn't have to worry about that anymore. 30 cal finishes it off as it shows side armor. And with the engine destroyed here, this Panzer IV-H is just such a goner. Panzergrenz, as they get close to the Ranger Marauders, are going to get cut down. Even with these Ranger assaults here, they're likely to die. Panzer IV-H is dead. Things are not going in favour of Gallo-Neal at all. It's only, well, Gnef is going to find the +2 very shortly. And as we can see up here, Panzergrenz just got slaughtered by the Ranger Marauders. So M4 is able to fall back. It is going to get hit and strafed by the Me-109, but that's not going to get a kill. It might allow the Jagdpanzer to find line of sight, but it doesn't really matter at this point, as Gallo-Neal doesn't have any infantry to push and capture, really. He's brought in quite a lot of infantry to the mid and is trying to sort out this area now. And it seems like for Gallo-Neal, he's been forced to be quite reactive throughout the game due to Gnef's play on this bottom side. Like, Gnef originally trying to make that little push on the top side almost seemed like a feint for his full push on this bottom side that definitely broke through. Gallo-Neal then broke back, then got pushed back, and then tried to push through the middle, but Gnef had already made the ground, and Panzer IV-H there does find the kill onto the M5 gun. Okay, well, looks like Gallo-Neal's still in this, as he is picking off infantry slowly but surely. Nothing this 30 cal can do about this half track, so that's going to probably go down. These rifles are pinned. No more armor in the face of this Panzer IV-H just yet. There is an M10 on the way up the road, but this Vespa really doing a great job of pinning down the enemy forces and allowing this Panzer IV-H to do its work. Me-109 G6 R6 is going to be brought in but forced to fall back. Can Gabby get on the back of that to shoot it down? We'll have to wait and see. Might find a brief shot. No, not quite in time. Verbal Wind and the 251-17 brought in off the spawn to stop that from happening, and actually forces back Gabby as well. Okay, so M10 destroyer here did move up, did take out the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer is down, most likely due to the M10, but the Panzergrenz have survived from this half track, and they're going to be able to move on to the Ranger Marauders. But the Ranger Marauders, if they get back in that building, will cut down the Panzergrenz in the open, force the guys to pin down. Not going to be able to make them surrender. Actually, maybe they will. There we go. Nicely done. M8 comes out, takes out the 258 with the M10, and that's blunted the push of Gal on the top side, but he has found a little bit of salient in the mid. M10 comes in on the bottom side, picks off the Panzer IV, and it seems that I'm now missing all of the action, as yeah, both of the pushes on either side have been cut off by the M10s. Gnef's M10s with the 2-star veterancy really doing the job, and a lot of ground being found here on the bottom side. Gnef still counting that +1, is building up to 1,200 points, and it's only a matter of time until Gnef wins. And this has been a hell of a game so far, but still 8 minutes and 35 seconds Gallo-Neal has to come back in this game. Does have a 350 point base to work from. M8 is trying to clean up these pioneers with a quick surrender there, and might even be able to find a kill onto this 251-17. Panzer IV-H now rolling up into this town. At close range, the Panzer IV-H actually has a much faster aim time than the M10, so Gallo-Neal using this to take on the M10 is probably a decent idea. Just needs to get it into range. Currently though, just going to help pin down the Ranger Assault to stop them getting into the town. But there is more flamethrowers on the way, and 2 lightnings as well. Verbelvin's going to make one fall back. The second one is not going to be forced to fall back in time. Finds the bombs onto the Panzer IV-H. And that is nicely timed, actually. Very nicely timed indeed. Gnef's going to be dropping the smoke to allow the flamethrower to get in range. Kills off the speed troop. Might even kill off the Panzergrenadier here. I've never seen flamethrowers used so offensively. That is actually incredible. ME-109 G6R6 going to try and pin down the M8 to stop it killing off the 250-117. Allows the Panzer IV-H to get into position to kill off the M8. And this reliance on Panzer IV-H has been really, really nice from Gallo-Neal, especially on a map like this. He knows that he has to match the aim time of the M4s, and he knows that the Panzer IVs are better at aiming than the M10s. But, oh, look at this. The Panzergrenadier are going to be taking out one of the flamethrower squads. Can they take out a second? Yes, they can. Gallo-Neal microing these very nicely indeed. Can the third one do the job? And this is why you don't really use flamethrowers very often. That is a 15-point Panzergrenadier squad taking out 2 15-point flamethrower squads. So already paid itself off twice over with that strike. P-38 Lightning coming in with the bombing strike for the center. That's going to bomb out this Panzer IV-H. But the Panzer IV-H, it looks like it found the kill onto the M10 here. That is a very big deal indeed. Because with a little bit of infantry support, these Panzer IV-H's could make a lot of ground. But Gnef's investment in this Air Force is definitely helping him out at the moment. He's found a 58% territory lead, kills the half-track on the bottom side here with the M10, and is constantly pushing back these Panzergrens. Might even find a 60% territory lead, and with the bomb onto the Panzer IV-H there, no command nearby. Is that going to be a surrendered Panzer IV-H? Not quite, not quite. The cheese is not going to work today. It's going to end up falling in the opposite direction as the M20 actually gets surrendered itself. But with a +2 in Gnef's favour, it's only giving Gallo-Neal more work to do. He's going to have to find like a +3 or even a +4 at this moment in time to bring it back in 5 minutes. And that is, I guess, kind of devastating for Gallo-Neal, as both players have played exceptionally well throughout this game so far. It's been so back and forth, both players making plays across the map, and it's absolutely incredible. I've really, really enjoyed this game, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. But Gnef seems to definitely have the upper hand here. His M10 is going to find this kill onto the Vesper once it fires its main gun, or not. 6 accuracy, 2-star veterancy, not finding the shot. Second shot definitely going to land though. And Vesper down. Only the Panzergren's really holding the map forwards on this bottom side. M8 is just going to charge through the centre. So the only push really that Gallo-Neal can make is in the centre here with this Panzer IV that did manage to survive the bombing strike. There is a couple of flamethrower squads that Gallo-Neal has to deal with in this town. He's bringing up some speed troop, but I think honestly Gallo-Neal's going to be pretty damn low on infantry availability, and we even see the P-38 Lightning there with its 25 HE power bombs destroying the Panzer IV. And well, Befell Panthers, all very well, but it's not really going to save the day at this point. I think Gal's just trying to play clean up. Oh, M5 gun as well, picking off the Panzer IV on the top side. At this range with the speed troop, the Ranger Assault's actually going to end up getting taken down and land reclaimed by Gallo-Neal at this town. Befell Panther does manage to kill off the Opel Blitz that was captured and the M8. But again, Gallo-Neal's got a long way to go. There's only 3 minutes 30 seconds left on the map. It's a +2 still for Gnef. And I just don't think that there's much that Gallo-Neal can do now, unfortunately. M15 going to be cleaning up some speed troop. We see the rifle trying to pin down the pinned, or like run down the pinned pioneers. 203mm off map. going to be hitting the town. And we do see an M5 gun take out the Wirbelwind even. Seems like all of the units that Gallo-Neal has are going down the drain. We have a Wirbelwind joining the Befehl Panther on the bottom side, probably just to try and keep that alive from all of the air force that Gnef has. But 56% territory, only a +1 now for Gnef, so a little bit of a recovery there. But this ME109 G6R6 has been coming in over and over and over again, finding itself forced to fall back, this time probably going to go down to the P38 Lightning, as the P38 Lightning does like a nice style roll there. See another P38 Lightning coming on this bottom side, 25 HE power bombs straight on top of the Befehl Panther. It's going to force that to fall back. 70% conquest in favour of Gnef. And with the Befehl Panther actually forced to fall back there, the M10 definitely has a good chance of killing off that tank. Has got to deal with the Wirbelwind first though, because that was actually doing morale damage to the M10. Can that Befehl Panther get out of line of sight? Yes it can. 222 going to be finding this recon. Never mind, recon just going to run down the 222 with the help of the M15 and the M10. But what a slow finish to such an action-packed game. Incredible game. Just absolutely incredible. It had me on the edge of my seat for the entire time. Things swinging backwards and forwards. We're playing up to the entire 40 minutes. And yeah, just well played to both. I think, honestly though, it mainly comes down to like Gnef's good use of the M4s and not like losing the top side in the early phase. Like there was a very good chance when Gnef's M4 went down up here at the very beginning of the match that Gallo-Neal could have found quite a lot of ground, but with those Panzergrens running across the open, Gnef used his mortars perfectly in the mid game to sort of delay it enough so that he could get more M4s in, and then managed to find a way around all of the Panzer 4Hs that Gallo-Neal was bringing in. And the Panzer 4Hs were a really good choice out of Gallo-Neal. He didn't need to invest in these Befehl Panthers. They're just a liability in a forested, or not forested, but like a bocage map like this. So using those Panzer 4s was really nice because they have the higher aim time that matches the M4s, and they also have a higher aim time than the M10s. So yeah, Gallo-Neal making the right choices of units, but not quite paying off in this one. Both players just really nice play and just good tactical decisions as well. Like Gnef, after he failed his push in the top side, switched to the bottom side, found the ground, and you can see just by the kills and losses how close this game was. 3,975 kills to 3,975, well, 3,500 losses, sorry, and vice versa for Gallo-Neal. 1,800 points in favour of Gnef overall in the end. Gnef held on to that +1 for a very long time. Found the +2 later on, but incredible game, incredible game. If we have a look at these kills, the T30 response to the centre was perfect, taking out the 259, stopped that push in its tracks. We saw the M4 come in here, took out a Panzer 4. Just so many good choices of units. These P38 Lightnings were invaluable as well. Taking out that 257 on the bottom side from Gallo-Neal basically stopped the Befehl Panzer 4 and the 259 combination from breaking through the AT gun and M4. And yeah, again, just incredible stuff. M10 came in, really good choice of unit, both on the top side and the bottom side. In terms of losses, 257 went to work on the top, counter batteried the hell out of these Ranger mortars. Gallo-Neal was not happy about those and definitely showed it by killing them all off. We see the Jagdpanzer come in, that found the kill onto the xylophone. That was probably one of the only mistakes that I actually saw throughout this entire game. The other stuff was just generic engagements that either went in one favour or the other. But that xylophone was the only major mistake that I saw. The Jagdpanzer finding line of sight onto that was not necessary at all. Panzer IV-H, I think that was probably in the mid, find the M5 gun and M4. But yeah, these Panzer IVs were paying themselves off quite nicely, and this Befehl Panther at the end did eventually find a kill onto the M10. So there we go. But either way, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this first game of a best of 3 between Gnef and Gallo-Neal. Gnef, if he wins one more, will be placed 3rd in the Great Paradox Tourney. But Gallo-Neal, if he brings back 2 games, will find himself in that spot instead. All to play for as we move into the second game of this best of 3, 3rd place final. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.